Hi, it's the Art Life video blog, day 89, and I'm Barbara Weathersby. We're in my house with Jacob.
Hi, I'm Jacob Wolf. Thank you, Barbara. You've been very hospitable. She gave me a Foster's, which I love Foster's, and just...
How'd I know? You know, I didn't. I'm not a beer drinker, so I looked and I looked, and I said, oh, well, I knew somebody who drank Foster's. It must not be too bad.
No, thank you so much.
Okay.
So the first thing I want to do is just kind of show people a little bit of your art. You are self-taught, am I correct?
Yes. And that was a mold of my face. Just put it on my face and made a mold. And
Wow.
just that clay itself.
So what drew you to art? How long have you been creating art, and what brought you to that?
I think it really was a form of self-therapy, you know, and self-actualization, you know, built upon, you know, someone told me once that I had dysthymia, and it was like, you know, you're constantly sad, you know. But I think it was a therapy from that, you know. So it's a imagery,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, the process of getting out of yourself. Yeah.
Definitely. Creating art is very therapeutic. It allows you a lot of time to dive inward in thought and get to know yourself, for sure. The time that I spend in my dark room is amazing. Like, sometimes being an artist is lonely, but it's worth it because you get to know yourself.
Right, and someone said to me, you know, well, if being sad is the worst thing that can ever happen to you, you know what I mean? Then you're all right, you know.
Well,
But yeah, it's a creative force. I think we all have it, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate sometimes in our busy world we don't really get to see it. We don't get to nurture it. It's not something that we necessarily nurture. You know, I wasn't brought up nurturing things like that, you know what I mean? And so it took me, I was well into my 30s, you know, before I even really had a flash that said, you know.
You said that you took a few art classes in like high school?
I graduated high school, and I think I took like a semester of class with Sandra Wetzel was the art teacher there. I remember her, you know. And it's like lithograph, that's right, where you cut in and then you make over it. And yeah, you know, in a basic, like, you know, hand-throwing pottery where you make coil baskets and then you smooth them and stuff like that and fire them. So, yeah, I did that. But I haven't any drawing.
And then, when was the next time you took an art class?
I took a private lesson from a woman. I believe it was probably about 2000 or a little before, over in Southeast. She gave it in her house, and we made a bust of Beethoven. You know, start from scratch. You know what I mean?
That's incredible. And, how big was it?
Yeah, not, you know, not huge. You know, just not life size either. You know what I mean? But oh, probably, you know, like this. Yeah, probably like that. Yeah, so it was an interesting process because when I started working with clay, I just had to pound on it, you know what I mean? I pound on it, I took rolling pins, I took knives and spoons and forks, and you know what I mean? I put water on it until it was all, you know what I mean? Uh-oh, that's the wrong thing to do, you know, too much, you know what I mean? So, like, or I took, you know, a 25-pound brick of clay, which is what this is made from. There's another piece that goes to that, but I couldn't find it. And, you know, and start shaping something and molding it, and then, you know, shaping it, molding it, and then cut it in half, you know what I mean, and make a, there's another piece which is like the bottom side of, with the left leg.
You said that your brother was an art teacher?
My brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law?
Yeah, my sister's husband.
And
he taught school at Yamhill.
And so you asked him for a brick of clay.
Right.
And so what was the process of that? Just that was the first time that you had played with clay, and how long?
Yeah, probably since my high school class.
And so you just pounded it, played with it, and you said that you learned, or you discovered what you were creating as you created it. How did you word that?
Oh yeah, it's like when I first got the clay, it's a 25-pound brick, and so I didn't really know what to do with it. So I took some dental floss and I shaved a piece off, you know what I mean, so thick or something like that, you know what I mean, and I just, you know, start pounding with it, start moving it around, you know, flip it, and, you know what I mean, coil it and do stuff like that, you know, but then, you know, took a bigger piece, you know what I mean, chunk it off so you have a chunk, and, you know, start shaping it, and like, oh man, that looks like legs, oh man, that looks like a body. You know what I mean? So you're not starting with an idea of what's going to come out at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you ever try to have an idea of what you're going to make before you start?
You know, I intentionally made the flowers. I intentionally did this. You know, I intentionally, you know, put the flowers on that. But, oh yeah, I rolled clay out and I formed. I intentionally made flowers and things like that. You know what I mean? I did have a idea in mind. But after the first couple of times that I shook things, you know what I mean, and they made bodies, you know what I mean, I was hooked. I'm like, oh man, you're kidding, look at this. You know?
Do you prefer to have an idea, or do you prefer to discover as you create?
Yeah, I think to discover it as I create, because being untrained, you know what I mean, I've tried to replicate other things, you know, and there's a lot of technique that I don't have to say, oh, I'm going to take, so the answer is, yeah, I rather just let it come out.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I do drawing with my eyes closed, you know, and either a crayon or a pencil or a piece of chalk in both hands. That's why I like big, long, you know what I mean, so that I can just kind of, whatever is in that subconscious, or, you know, whatever it is, I can put it out on paper,
For
however it goes.
What are some things that you've been working on recently? You said you had a couple pieces in here that you just finished.